What's up, boys? Is this Marcus Cypher? Uh, what's up? What's up? Let's do a quick audio check. Let me know if everything is fine. We got the Now West today, Lucifer. We got Patrick. What's up? Warstream, let's go. God, you guys are insane, insane. Hope everybody's doing well though. What's up? 53k or 80k. Well, honestly, we're gonna kind of have to see, to be honest. Like initially it was looking good, but I don't know, man. I don't know. We're gonna cover everything in today's review though. Let me reset the charts real quick. Reset. We do have new monthly value, so this one is arguably going to be the, one of the, if not the most important value for the upcoming week, because I think it's genuinely going to be important, that one. Let's wrap with the chart, like here. Let's give it a minute. Let's give the crosshair to allow everybody to join up on the stream. Bit of a mixed bag here, honestly. Bit of a mixed bag. Everyone's super bullish because Bitcoin hardly moved in the news from the desert. Bro, honestly, I haven't really been paying attention either. Like, they caught the guy, right? They caught him in like an hour. I saw a video from an English dude within Dubai where a drone flew through his apartment. He was like, yo, what the fuck is this? Like, insane scenes. Then I saw someone comparing a drone with the airplanes from 9/11. I was like, oh my god. The reason people that are breathing the air are really retarded, bro. Like, it's insane. My desk is a mess. Holy shit. A bag, you say? A small bag, right? What goes around comes around. I mean, yeah. I mean, what's up, Ken? Good night, man. Is it evening at your place? Damn. Good evening, smart man. Hope you're doing well, bro. So how have you guys been holding up? How was the weekend? Should I tweet about that we're going live? Yeah, let me just tweet it. What's up, Carlo? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Retweet this. Quote. Live now. All right. Friday scammed me 3 times on a 24 yearly. This was a clean short on Bitcoin, and this, however, was nasty. Ethereum had a really clean short as well. This sweep that breakdown into that -2 and the 2.5, but I did not expect this to happen. Right, mean reversion back into the 2 week. Like, this shit was mental. Was this when they announced, like, hey, we killed him? Insane, bro. Like, it's just chopping. Believe it or not, it was actually good. The weather was good here in the Netherlands. So I was just, I was chilling. Bottom is in. Maybe we're running it. I mean, let's break it down. All right. Everybody ready? Let's break it down. And then we can define what we want to be trading heading into next week. All right. Let's go back to the prep here. Today is March 1, which is good, right? Because we've got new previous month value to work with, which is also, always going to be a very good level to be trading. The TPO tick size that I'm using is 65 for TPO. If you see me charting it on extra charts, tick size 65 here. I'm rocking a 30 tick size for the session profiles because it's way cleaner. Not really interested in using a 65 tick size for that layout. Going back to the prep. News events, I'm not going to be, breaking this down because we've got a stack week probably with Trump blazing out of his neck. I don't know, but I'm not going to be writing this. In terms of the developments on what I think is actually important, if we're taking a look at the yearly, quarterly, monthly, and the weekly values, let's open up that chart. We're going to be starting off on the yearly. So the main takeaway on the yearly here is that we're finding new value around old value, meaning this is the VWAP from 2024. It is not really a surprise that we're kind of chopping through the level. Honestly, after sweeping this low, having a structure break like that, I wasn't expecting this amount of chop. Like, I wasn't, right? I thought, you know what, if we're getting this, especially in the H12, like we didn't really have a structure break though either, but we swept this low, pretty decent structure here, and now we're just continuing the chop. So I'm not a huge fan of this current low, by the way. I'm not a fan of that low. So, you know, I'm aware that we're trading back above the 24 VWAP, but honestly, I think we're due for a bit more chop. Things change though if we can break above this value right here. If we can accept above this, I believe this is the previous month VWAP as well. We'll go over that in a bit. But if we can break above this, I think these highs are next into this previous supply, which is kind of confluent. Take into account that this is not the yearly VWAP right now, right? It's still the quarterly VWAP because we only have three months within the current year, right? So it's not yearly VWAP, it's quarterly VWAP. But this could definitely be an area of interest around the 770k region if we can accept above these. But so far, the only thing that's really important is that we are trying to reclaim the 2024 VWAP, and that's about it. If we're taking a look at the quarterly here, same stuff. We've been trying to break back within quarterly value, developing value. We tried to break back within, couldn't do it. This is where I was like, things might start to look promising here. Couldn't do it again. Now we're trying again, right? So essentially we're compressing into the level, but we're also trending lower. So I'm not a huge fan unless we start to get a bit more time and space back within this value area where we can at least draw half a circle here. At that point, I'm like, okay, you know what? We're finally accepting back within quarterly developing value. When we do, the range becomes from VWAP towards developing value, right? So we can try and trade this towards the VWAP, or if we break below again, right, I think at that point we're fucked and we're going to go towards that swing low. But other than that, is the quarterly super important for me heading into this week? No, it's not. And why is that? It's because if we're taking a peek here at the monthly, we actually have finally new previous month value right here, right? We broke lower, then the new monthly value formed. Unfortunately, we didn't get a retest there to short this fucker back into the lows, right? We just went straight towards the lows. Then we had a new, a nice bracket here, two-sided trades, meaning new previous month value is currently on the table. So what I'm looking at right now, heading into this week, is I'm aware that we've got a 3-week value low down here. I will show you the precise level in a bit once we go over extra charts, but there's support here. There's also resistance here in the form of that 3-week value area high, because we've been bracketing for 3 weeks within this current range. This was a deviation, right? Another one right here. So if this is finally the low, we need to see this whole support. A layer of confluence here is that we also have the previous month. I forgot how to draw an arrow right there. So we also have the previous month value low here. So honestly, I think as long as this holds the support, we can expect Bitcoin to trade back into the VWAP. As long as the VWAP holds its resistance, we can expect this to trade back into the low. So I think heading into this week and heading into the upcoming 2 weeks, this will define whether or not we're going to go way higher, and this will define whether or not we're going to go way lower. So monthly value, super important. We're taking a quick peek here at the weekly. Last week's weekly value provided some trades here where we had this rejection there at the previous week value high. Then we got the structure break for shorts, invalidation here, targeting, I don't know, I would say this low, but we didn't, right? We formed a poor low here, and then we got the news for a complete mean reversion back into the value high again, where we formed another high. But I think the most important takeaway here is that we're going to be getting new previous week value high, new previous week VWAP, new previous week value low. Is this value going to be more important than the newer previous month value that we have? No. But I'm still aware that if Bitcoin tries to break higher and then it rejects, it doesn't necessarily have to go all the way towards the highs, right? I can just look for shorts here for potential reversion lower. This is at 67, right? Because the 3-week value high is all the way up here. But if we're getting the rejection at previous week value high, I will still look for potential shorts, okay? So let me just write that out before we go towards the rolling VWAPs and the TPO. The yearly is trying to reclaim 24 VWAP. Still, right? Been ages. Quarterly. Chopping at developing quarter value low. Then we've got the monthly. Rotational within new previous month value. That's good. Weekly. Rotational within developing week value. Rolling VWAPs. I'm not using the 90-day. I'm not using the 365-day. It's too far away right here. For looking at the 7-day here, let me just enable them. 7-day rolling VWAP, confluent with 3-week value low. That's good. 30-day rolling VWAP, within a couple of days, it will be confluent with the 3-week value high. So 7-day confluent with, 30-day, starting with that, confluent with 3-week value high. 7-day confluent with 3-week value low. That's it. 90-day and the yearly are just too far away for me right now to even consider them within today's prep. TPO, Excel charts. Let's start off on the week. Arguably, we can decide which composite are we going to be looking into, right? I think the interesting part here is, let me get rid of the crosshair real quick. Show, get rid. So we had this insane breakdown, right? Breakdown week, breakaway week from value. Value area high from 75K, value area low 63. So this is a 10K range. Obviously, any other week that forms after this break week, right, is going to be, within value. So does that mean that we should instantly merge everything no matter what the structure is? In my opinion, no. We should be aware of the higher time frame range. So let's say merge 2-week, merge 3-week, right? Can we merge this maybe into a 4-week? I don't know. But the overall range could be this. Do I want to trade it like that? No. What I prefer to do in a scenario like this is, let's reset this TPO. I'm looking at the week that after followed afterwards, right? So let's say that we had a 2-week composite here. Right now, I'm aware of a 3-week value and a 2-week, right? Now that we're having a 50% value overlap with the previous 2 weeks, let's see if that's a good composite. In my opinion, this looks like a perfect composite with the distribution in the middle, point of control in the middle as well. So I'm going to be running with this 3-week value heading into next week. Meaning if we open up within, I think we can do that, or if we open up without, but I'll show you both instances. So let's say we open up within that 3-week composite. I will want to be a buyer on a filled break below. The fact that this is a bit of a messy composite means that we need to be accounting for a potential deeper wick below the composite followed by a reclaim. And for that, I'm going to be using my previous month value area low as the confirmation. So if I'll show you that on the chart, let's go back. We've got the 3-week value low here and we've got the previous month value low there, right? If this shows us that we are trying to break down and we get absorption at the previous month value low and we sweep an H12 low, for example, and we formed an hourly opposing candle there, let's say that we break above, I'm going to be a buyer and I'm going to be targeting the 3-week value area high because this is an indication that we're failing to break away from the 3-week composite. We're coming off a key contextual level, which is the previous month value low, and we've got confluence with a 24 VWAP. So heading into next week, I honestly believe that the best opportunity to look for longs is a failed breakaway from value, followed by a break back above the 7-day rolling VWAP. Everything is kind of lining up for this. So if we get this, then a break above, I think we can look for longs for a move higher into the 3-week and the 30-day rolling VWAP. That's the main play for me in terms of the upside exposure. If this starts breaking down and, we get the initial reaction at the previous month very low, but we then get shit like this where, I don't know, maybe this awkward grind upwards, form a high, sweep, break structure, my invalidation is here. And I'm going to bet my ass that this is going to be running into the lows because these equal lows are not looking good in my opinion. Yes, we've got support, but if we are breaking away from the recent 3-week composite and then the market tells us, okay, we're trying to break back within value, but fuck me, we're trading back below previous month very low even, right? That's a failed break back within value, and that confirms the bear shift for me for a potential move into 60K, which is this swing point right there, right? So that's the main play that I want to be basing my trades off heading into this week based on this 3-week composite. Now, I've been yapping a lot. Let's talk about recent structures. Do we've got any anomalies based on these session profiles? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We got naked point of control here, poor high there, naked point of control there, naked point of control there. Do we need to be sweeping everything in order to get bullish? No. But if we do start to break lower, I'll have my eyes on this naked point of control here, followed by a break back above this previous New York low. right? Then I think the next draw will be this poor high here and potentially this naked point of control there around 69. Okay, so that's how I'm playing this based on the session profiles. I want to be aware of that. And is there anything else that I want to be aware of? Well, honestly, can we build a composite here, right? I was thinking about previous to when I started the stream, I was like, damn, right, it's looking rough. Like, can I build out a composite here? No, honestly. Like, you could argue that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days where Bitcoin isn't really doing anything. All right, right? You could argue, let's merge it. But honestly, this is just way too much of a chop for me where value is all over the place, right? The value is at the lows, value is at the highs, back at the lows, back in the middle. When this occurs, I'm like, okay, fuck that. I'm not merging this within any composite. And I'm just going to be looking at the anomalies. In this case, naked point of control, poor low, poor high there, right? And that's where I'm basing my trades off. Let's say that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday forms a 3-day composite or maybe even a 4-day composite. At that point, I'm like, okay, good. Now we can start to look for lower time frame trades again based on the current 4-day composite. But until then, I'm putting my focus more on the higher time frame range, which is the 3-week composite. Okay. Let's write that down. Let's go back to the prep. Right here, TPO formed a 3-week value like that. We have a naked session naked block below. We have session poor highs above. And that's about it. That's about it. I don't want to be focusing on anything else, to be honest, based on TPO. So to summarize this, Bitcoin remains rotational within a higher time frame bracket, which is the 3-week composite value area where the value, oh my gosh, I can't pronounce it anymore, where the value area low overlaps, I think I was having a stroke, with 24 VWAP, and the value area high overlaps with the previous month VWAP. Considering this recent monthly value, I will allow for a spike lower into the previous month value area low, but it has to reclaim the 3-week value area low. ASAP to confirm a potential low for a move back up into the 3-week value area high and potentially higher. Failure to hold the previous month value low as support. I can't type anymore. And I can see it running back into the lows at 60K. All right. I'm going to be copy pasting the narrative because holy shit. Copy. So what's my narrative? Paste. Bang. The main area of interest for this week is the 3-week value, confluent with the newer previous month value. A fill break below sets up longs while a fill break above sets up shorts. Should the market break away from value, I will want to go with that break, right? If we break away from the 3-week value, I want to be a buyer. If we break towards the downside, I want to be a seller, right? So I'm just going to be focusing on the 3-week composite, mainly because we don't really have any short-term values to be trading off based on TPO. In terms of hypos, let me copy paste this. Can I do that like that? Looks horrible. But we're going with it. For the long, sweep 3-week composite value low and reclaim for longs towards the 3-week value high. For a short, a fill break above the 3-week value high for shorts towards the 3-week value low. For another short, acceptance below previous month value low for shorts towards the clean lows and 60K. Let me go back to the charts. This essentially means that what I already told you, if we're sweeping this low into the previous month value low, I'm not going to be looking for absorption here. I'm not going to be stalking for longs here. Why is that? Because we're trading below the 3-week value low. I want the market to show me, okay, you know what? Sellers had their chance. They weren't able to break this below the previous month value low. We're now back above this opposing candle. I'm longing this with my stop below the low. And at that point, I'm targeting the 30 rolling VWAP for a 70% take profit. And then I'll see, can we accept above? Sure. Then I'll ride it upwards towards 75K. But the main trade remains from the value area high back into the value area low. Okay. If we do this, and then we start to trade towards the highs, and then we sweep it, maybe we even sweep this high, I don't know. But if we sweep high and then break back within the composite, meaning we have a failed break above the previous month VWAP, I'm looking for shorts here in validation above the high, and I'm targeting the 3-week value area low, right? That's the main thesis for me. The reason why I have a breakdown short here is if we accept below the 3-week value area low, I want to be able to see if we accept back within. Are we genuinely accepting back above the 24 VWAP, or is this a bearish retest and we break below a previous low? When this happens, I'm shorting this with an entry there, and I'm not only targeting these lows, I'm targeting the swing low at, where's my swing point? At 60K, right here. I'm targeting this right here as my TP, right? Is that clear for everybody? In terms of this week prep, how we did it based on VWAP, based on the rolling VWAPs, and are there any questions so far? Now's the time. All right. So if there are no further questions, what's up, Hawk? If this is giving me 53, I don't know what will. Honestly, I know, bro. And I think if Bitcoin is genuinely weak, we're not really gonna get. Let me add the previous week values real quick. The upcoming ones. So we will have the previous week value high up here. Let me just get this slightly like that. Previous week value high. And then we'll have the previous week. Developing week VWAP is going to be overlapping with the 24 VWAP. That's good. Developing week value is here. Oh my gosh. 64-ish. Let me just be aware of that as well. But honestly, I think if we're breaking away from the 3-week, I don't think we're capping downside here. But let's just annotate that within the charts. Developing week value area low. Right, that's it. Swing point anchored VWAP have any value? Yeah, they sure do have value for me. Especially from when we form like a bottoming structure from the all-time low and all-time high. For example, an anchored VWAP from this low and an anchored VWAP from this high. Like that's good. Or I look for anchored VWAPs when we have like a new listing. I will anchor the VWAP towards the listing price. Also good. I applied quarterly VWAP. Yeah, do you know why that is? It's because of how TradingView calculates the data points and the look back data. So if you're applying quarterly values, yearly values, if it doesn't really matter which value it is, I always suggest going towards an hourly chart. Make sure that you're on an hourly chart because that's the best calculation you can get. What's up, Neon? Good to see you, bro. What's the logic behind VWAP? Well, essentially it's volume weighted average price. So I like to trade with TPO, and TPO is like a bell curve distribution, right? Where we have this distribution. Look, we got this distribution, right? This distribution. Essentially, how I'm treating things is this distribution. Within TPO, we call this the point of control, right? We call this value area high. We call this value area low. With VWAP, let's say that we open up here, the weekly, and then volume weighted average price throughout the week is this, right? It's essentially similar to the point of control. Then if we plot a standard deviation 1 from that VWAP, it will plot a band around it like that, right? Which is roughly the same as a value area distribution from the bell curve, right? It's a standard deviation from the mean. And if we do that for the -1 as well, it essentially gives us developing profiles, right? So I have a couple of rules that I have within TPO that I use within my trading, and I'm applying the same rule set towards VWAP. For example, if we accept back within previous week value or within this 3-week composite, I'm looking for shorts at the value area high for a move lower. So the same story can be said about if we accept back within developing month value or previous month value based on VWAP, I'm looking for shorts for a move back into the opposing extreme, which is the -1, right? Standard deviation -1. This is the +1. So that's how this relays back within the way how profile traders or VWAP traders trade. I wouldn't necessarily say how I trade because a lot of people trade like this, but this is essentially a simplified view on why we're using it like that. Okay, loop, makes sense. Is this the time to pay attention? It feels like it's just going to chop around. On Sunday, honestly, I don't think it's the time to start paying attention. But I do think that the time to start paying attention is when we trade below here, because at that point we need to see this break back above, right? For a long back into the value area high. Or if we trade below and we try to break above and we fail to do so, we're shorting this back to 60K. So the time to be paying attention is down here or up here. But anything in the middle, just, you know, enjoy your time away from the charts. Hype looks good. Previous VWAP. Got the sweep into the 8-week value high here. Nice. Let's take a quick peek at the bands. Hype. New monthly value, new weekly, yearly, quarterly. I think if this ends up being a deviation below this previous quarterly value low and hype can actually accept above the previous VWAP, then we're going to go towards 36 and 44. 44 seems like the playbook. If this shit can trade above VWAP and then break like that. So definitely looks good. Heading into next week, we'll have new previous week value area high. 30-ish. We'll have to hold a support. 30-ish lines up with a sweep of that low. 30-ish. Let me quickly take a peek. Quarterly. I need to have more quarterly values. 2. The previous quarterly view is here. 29. All right. What's the weekly doing? Developing week. 29 as well. All right. H12. 29. I don't know. I'll have to see. The best case would be do something like this, form a swing low, sweep that low, and then reclaim. Like that would be strong for a move up into that quarterly VWAP here. Previous quarterly VWAP. And then where's the yearly value coming in? It's at previous year value high here. Previous year value high. But this needs to hold on a higher time frame basis. Previous quarterly very low. It's not from the prior quarter, it's from a while ago, but it's an old quarterly value. So I would say as long as this structure holds and we can actively trade above this, I think 36 is on the cards. Okay? But looks pretty decent. Right. If you made it this far, throughout the prep. Let's wrap it up. Do me a favor, leave me a like. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't, because I'm still trying to reach 10k subs and notifications on. You know the drill. And yeah, man, I will see you guys within the next stream. Have a fantastic Sunday. Have a fantastic week. For the guys within Discord, I will see you guys tomorrow morning, same time for another live prep. And stay safe, y'all. Take care.